Greetings and introduction. Are the judges ready? Is the timer ready? Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, judges and audience. My name is Isabella. My partner is Isabella, and I stand against the resolution. Resolution. The state of Florida should not allow schools and libraries to ban books. Definitions. The affirmative accepts all but one definition, and that is definition. The final definition, banning books. The affirmative team has defined banning books as the removal of those materials. We do not agree with this definition. The better definition is from aclu.org, restricting access to books. Observation 2, harms. Harm 1. The affirmative team tried to tell you that banning books limits exposure to learning, but we disagree. There may be inappropriate content for certain families. Quote, 40% of the most challenged books in 2017 contained explicit violence. That is the same percentage that also contained dangerous material. 30% of the books were sexually explicit with their descriptions. Source, connectus.org. Summary, children who receive exposure to violence in books at an early age can encourage them to act with more aggression. Reasons of banning books is not to shelter a child from specific content. It is a matter of guiding them toward what is healthy and for them to encounter. Harm 3. The affirmative team tried to tell you that banning books is a violation of the freedom of speech, but we disagree. Parents should have the ultimate right to what their children can read. Quote, parents are the final line of defense when it comes to protecting their children from inappropriate material for their age group. If these books are available to public or school libraries, then parents might not even know that their kids are exposed to this material. Source, connectusfund.org. Summary, the freedom of speech is still not being violated just because schools and libraries ban inappropriate content from young minds. Writers can still write what they feel, and mature people can still access the content they desire. Observation 3, mandate. The affirmative team's plan will not work. We are happy with the status quo. The affirmative team plans to use the Florida state government to force the stop of book banning in schools. This will not work because parents will lose trust in their government if the state is not considering the worries of parents with their children when their children are being exposed to dangerous concepts. Schools and libraries should not have the authority to determine if a book is safe to read for a child. Parents have a right to what harmful thoughts, a right to want to keep harmful thoughts from entering a child's brain. Observation 4, advantages. The affirmative team claims that access to information is widely recognized as an enabler of a broad range of human rights. Well, we disagree. People can still learn from history by reading a book.
Right.
Okay.
I think so.
People can still learn from history by reading books, just they can do it at a more mature age, not when they're really young and in kindergarten and in their first grades of school. Advantage 2, when parents push, the affirmative team claims that when parents push to remove books from school libraries, They trample on the rights of other parents and supporters who want the books to be available. But we argue that parents have the ultimate say in what their children can read. This means that if these parents are mad that they're banning books, they can simply find it online or anything they want. But if the parents that don't want their children to read things that can mess with their brains and potentially harm them, then they should have the ultimate say, not the people who want to keep the books. Advantage 3, quote, the affirmative team argued, the book bans violate the First Amendment because they deprive children or schools of the rights to receive information and ideas. But we argue that it does not. It does not affect the First Amendment. Nobody is taking this book away from you. You can still read it if you want. You just can't do it if you're young. Conclusion. Therefore, my partners Isabel Vasquez, Nick Pajalan, and I, Isabella Calorie-Coy, urge the judges to reject the resolution. The state of Florida should not allow schools and libraries to ban books. Thank you. I now stand ready for cross-examination.
You did it! Good job.
Is it possible to ask for a copy of?
I don't think so because you have to
But you can ask for time if you need time.
Yes, you can ask for time. Ariel asked me that this morning because remember it's not pre-written, so they don't have a copy they can hand. The one ends.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was your definition of banned books?
Restricting access to books.
And are you aware of the typical process in which something can be banned? How would it be restricted?
By schools and libraries banning it.
Okay. You said that, it's true that you said in your 1NC that parents should have the final say, correct? And that's
Yes.
why we should ban books.
Yes.
Are you aware of any statistics showing that parents would like these books being banned?
Parents who don't want their books being banned can live with it because they can find it in a different place. Finding harmful books in a school should not be allowed.
Are you aware that if we were to put in place more strict age restrictions, that parents would have the final say, seeing as it would be the parental consent that the child would go to?
Can you please rephrase that?
Are you aware that if age restrictions were put into place, that children would not be able to purchase or borrow books from libraries or schools without parental consent?
Well, if you're young, you shouldn't be shown harmful material.
Do you agree that age restrictions would solve this?
Yes.
Okay, and you claimed that banning books in libraries banning books would still allow people to read books just at a more mature age, correct?
Yes.
Are you aware that public libraries, as in the resolution, is for anybody, not just children?
They can put it on their library website for the older people to be able to view and read as they wish.
Are you aware that books outside of libraries are very expensive nowadays?
Not necessarily. They're not. You can afford them easily.
Are you aware that not everybody can afford to purchase a book separately, easily?
That's why if we put the books online and they can be free access, it'll be a lot harder for little children to be able to access the material.
And are you aware that do you know if currently when they ban a book, that they're making it available online?
They could definitely make that a possibility.
And you said, are you aware that libraries are it's a public collection of books for the public?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great job, guys.
Can we have, 1 minute?
Yeah. You okay?
Yeah. Are your judges ready? Yeah. Is the timer ready? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, judges and audience. My name is Jeannie Kayla Sensiz, and my partner Ariel Lopez and I are for the resolution. The resolution, quote, the state of Florida should not allow schools and libraries to ban books. Observation 1, definition. We are pleased that the negative team accepts our definition except banning books. The affirmative team argues that our definition remains valid due to the fact that in this context, banning books is causing for the removal of book materials. And book challenges are not just expressing how. Book challenges do not simply involve a person expressing a point of view, rather they are an attempt to remove material from the curriculum or library, therefore restricting access to others. Source, American Library Association. Observation 2, harms. Harm 1, banning books limits exposure and awareness, period. The negative team trying to tell you that due to the current system in place, the current school system in place, children will not be missing out on any information will not be missing out on any diverse information, but however, the purpose of books is not just to educate people, but to express diverse opinions. We know books can provide us with knowledge on various topics, playing a crucial role in our education as we know today. And we know they are used as a primary source of information for children. But when we ban books, we strip away the ability for not only students, but adults to turn to books as their primary source for their research, especially with books that reflect historical events, beliefs, and cultures, providing access to those diverse opinions. Despite the exposure to harsh realities, these kinds of books show how life was during past generations. In the words of novelist Neil Gaiman, when you ban a book, you are not just censoring the words on the page, but the ideas and stories that shape our understanding of the past. Suggesting banning book is like erasing the past and the narrative of people who experience it. It still silences voices and erases past experiences, regardless of whether children get access to it or not. Remember, we are urging that banning books are not just affecting children, but mainly adults, especially in public libraries. Source, American Library Association.org. Harm 2. The negative team did not address our second harm, therefore, they have conceded our point. Harm 3. Banning books is a direct violation of the First Amendment. Quote, whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. Founding Father Benjamin Franklin. The negative team tried to tell you that banning books will not violate the First Amendment due to parents having the ultimate right to limiting harmful thoughts to their children. However, banning books, regardless of the context, violates freedom of speech because it restricts the ability of individuals, not just children, but adults, to access and share information, ideas, and opinions.
limiting the abilities of authors to express themselves freely and for readers to engage in critical thinking and debate. The First Amendment protects individual rights to access information and perspectives from various sources, including books. By banning or censoring certain books, individuals are denied opportunity to engage in diverse viewpoints. When banning a book, the government or other authority censors the author's work and prevents them from sharing their thoughts with the public. That is a direct violation of freedom of speech, regardless whether parents should be able to have rights over their children. This decision affects not only children, but adults who are of age to allow themselves to read whatever book they find appropriate. Additionally, banning books also prevents authors from earning a living from their writings, further limiting their access to exercise their freedom of speech. So, banning books, regardless of the context or regardless of parents' access to their children's thoughts, their children's readings, will directly violate other people, such as adults and authors' freedom of speech. Source prosandcons.org. Observation 3, plan and solution. Mandate: the state of Florida should not allow schools and libraries to ban books. The agency will continue to be the legislative branch, and enforcement would be by mandating that no books shall be banned, period. No funding is anticipated. However, if Congress sees fit while ratifying the amendment, they shall set forth an appropriate budget. Advantages. Advantage 1. If we only read books that everyone else is reading, you can only think what everyone else is reading. Haruki Murakami, American novelist. Summary. Students and other adults will be able to be exposed to a wide variety of political and social thoughts to broaden their ideas. They will be able to learn from history without sensory details. Advantage 2, once again, the negative team did not respond to our harm, therefore they have conceded our point. Advantage 3, quote, when the government censors or suppresses speech, it sets a dangerous precedent that undermines the very foundation of democracy. The First Amendment ensures that all voices can be heard, even those who we may disagree with. Okay. Haruki
Murakami.
Yes, Murakami, I'm so sorry. Summary: adults and students' First Amendment will no longer be in any position of violation. In conclusion, the state of Florida should not allow schools and libraries to ban books. Therefore, my partner Ariel Yopes and I, Jeannie Sancees, urge the judges to vote for the resolution. Thank you. I now stand open for cross-examination.
Very good. You made it. Good job.
Good afternoon. Did you just so happen to define book challenges?
Yes.
Did it happen to be in Ariel's 1AC?
Yes.
Can't you still get a book if it is banned in a library or school?
You can.
Yes, and how would the author no longer be able to have the book being sold or whatever you said? How would
rephrase that?
Okay. If you ban books, do you really think that the author will actually lose money from it?
They can, and they will not. There are several different ways to promote a book. It doesn't have to be just from bookstores. Placing books in libraries can help push their ideas to the public, regardless of whether they can afford the book or not. Remember, not all people have the privilege to buy books whenever they can. The library is free and therefore should still have the same access as everyone else, with the more fortunate people with money who are able to buy these books. Banning books will limit people, the less fortunate, ability to read diverse opinions.
But what if a young person a young little person is able to access this book? What would happen to them?
That is something that they have to deal with their parents.
Do you want young minds to be exposed to explicit violence and like stories describing like people making out and like wrong things?
There is a way to prevent this. Not all books will be under the same categories. Young children in libraries and schools will always have a section dedicated to books for the youth. And those books do not include any sexual or explicit or violent content. If the children remains within its boundaries of these students' books, they will have no problem and they should not run into any adult books in that section.
Wouldn't you agree that schools and libraries should work to protect minors from encountering novels which contain, I already said that. Wouldn't you agree that parents should be able to lawfully raise concerns to books and libraries about content that is not age appropriate for their minor children?
Yes.
Thank you.